Hello and welcome to this masterclass, this webinar on breaking free from depression and anxiety, from past trauma, feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. Now, my name is Maria McGrath and I will introduce myself in a moment, but I want to today talk to you about the three key factors for creating fast, painless, and lasting transformation. Now, to get that, I'm going to share with you why you want to stick with me and get to know what it is that I'm going to talk about. And that is the three reasons why everything that you've tried in the past hasn't worked to give you those lasting transformations. Why the traditional therapies, why the personal development, the programs and the tools and the energy healings and everything else that you may have tried have not given you fast and lasting transformation. They may not have given you any healing at all. And the biggest and main reason for that is because our female design is different to the male design. And 99% of everything out there, all the therapies and the modalities and the processes and the personal development has been designed by the male brain for the male design, for the male, because they only know what they know. And so we need to know our female mind, our female design, and why it is different. So that is the biggest and most important. But secondly, we need to work at that deep unconscious level instead of just at a conscious level, which is where reading books, learning, our therapies, meditations, all of that is at that conscious level. And thirdly, the third and really important key is to understand epigenetics. Now, epigenetics is science, okay? It's proven science. It's been around for around 40 years, if not a bit longer. So it's not new, but in the grand scheme of what people know, it is a little bit new. So this is the science that proves we have inherited in our DNA the emotions that have been felt by our past bloodline ancestors, our mother, our grandmother, our great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. We've stored in our DNA patterns and conditioning and beliefs that are currently causing us to struggle or running programs in our life that we're not even aware of or that are causing us the struggle and pain. So when we know those three very, very important key factors, then we can know that we can release and resolve depression and anxiety. Okay, I know a lot of people say that you cannot get rid of it. You just have to deal with it. It's a daily struggle. You just have to cope. Well, that is not true. Okay, so my name is Maria. I'm a Creatrix transformologist, and I am a small town country girl. I have been working on myself for about 20 years, and I struggled very, very deeply with depression. For a long time, for probably 2 decades. I know I firstly felt at around about 15. I didn't know what it was back then because no one talked about mental health or emotional health or depression. It wasn't a word that I knew. I just knew that I felt really, really sad. I just felt lonely. I felt alone. I felt like nobody understood me, and I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I just always withdrew. I was never truly open or being myself because I felt like there was a weight. The weight of the world was on me. There was just so much sadness. And as the years went by, it got bigger and bigger and deeper and heavier and heavier. With all the life events that happened. I would have moments where I was okay, but then I would go back down into that depression, and then I would come out and I would be okay. But I tried a lot of things because I wanted to feel better. I wanted to be better. So I did a lot of soul searching and I did a lot of trying of different things. And that is why I'm sharing this, because I want to know if you are in that place, then there is, it's not just hope, for something better. There is better. Okay, and that is what I'm going to share. So I'll go back to sharing my screen with you again. If I can get back to. So just so you know that I do have some kind of knowledge of what I'm talking about, what I've been doing for the past 10 years since I became, it was about 8 years I could become a Creatrix transformologist, but 10 years since I started this journey into understanding our female design. I have been on the front cover of 2 different women's empowerment magazines. One was a US online magazine, another one an Australian magazine, Women's Empowerment. I have been a co-author in 2 very successful and best-selling books. I have been a contributing writer for a number of different magazines over the time, and the Sabella Publications is a US online magazine, and I was a monthly writer for 2 years with them. And I've also been on a number of podcasts. There's another 2 or 3 since this slide was actually made. Now, 3 years of struggling with depression. This is just a photo of what I was like. It was a screen grab off a video. That's why it looks so bad. But you can tell, I'm not the same person that I was in that photo. The weight of the world made me look 10 years older, and the video that is still on YouTube, and I have it, said, watch Maria lose 10 years off her face by releasing her emotional baggage. And that's the power that real transformation has. So I just wanted to stop here and let you have a look at this list of emotions and just scroll through and see how many of them do you feel. These are by no means the list of everything, because there's thousands and thousands. Us women can say, have so much language for different emotions. Anger there at number 2, anger, mad, crazy, rage, pissed off. 5 different ways of saying the one emotion, but every woman will feel it differently, and it is important how you say it, how it feels to you, is how we release it in the method, the therapy that I use to help women. So these are the most common that most women that are struggling have on their list of things. So have a look. Fear. And fear could be of a lot of things. Fear of being judged. Fear of being rejected. With fear of driving. I've worked with a woman who had a fear of losing her kids, fear of death, fear of leaving the house, guilt, loss, grief can be a huge weight that we can get stuck in. And it's something that no matter who we are or what we're doing, it's something that can come into our life in an instant and change everything. And how we deal with it is going to be dependent on what other emotions we're already carrying. How many of these resonate with you? Like if you picked one that, you looked at and saw and it really was, yes, I feel deep sadness or deep depression, and you close your eyes and you float down into a memory of when you felt that, see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt in that memory, and tell me, what does it rate on a scale of 0 to 10? Is it a 10? Is it an 8? Is it a 5? What is it? So anything from 0 to 4 is pretty much life, because we are human and we're meant to feel emotion. But when you're stuck in the 8, 9, and 10 in any one of these or all of these, imagine if you feel all of these 10 out of 10, life is really, really hard. But it doesn't have to be. And I want to get that across, that this hopefully is going to give you some answers as to what you can do, how you can change. And understanding yourself as a female is our #1 priority in here, because that is the key to creating and finding peace and change and transformation. So I want you to imagine if each of one of those emotions, okay, every emotion or belief that you have is a rock of some description, okay? There are so many different emotions, so many different sizes, different shapes of rock, okay? So your 10 out of 10 could be this great big boulder down the bottom here, and there might be a couple of emotions that are just little tiny pebbles. But if you created in your mind's eye an image of a rock for each of your emotions, and then you put them in an imaginary backpack, how heavy would that backpack be? Just imagine that you have a backpack, and you know, if you're feeling emotion, it has a weight. That pain, that 10 out of 10 is creating a weight on your physical and your spiritual, emotional self. Yes, absolutely. So you could have a tiny little backpack and you're going along and life is okay. But if you're watching this, it's more than likely that your backpack is getting pretty heavy, or it's unbelievably heavy. I remember when I watched Reese Witherspoon in Wild. Don't know if you've seen it, but she had this backpack. She was going, you know, for a walk for, I don't know, months. And she literally had to lie down on the floor and strap it to her and then try and stand up. Now, that was what mine felt like before I turned 40. I was on the floor. I was breathing and I was existing, and I could barely get up and get out of bed and get through the day. It was tough. Every single day, took every bit of effort I had, and it was too much. It was getting to the place where where it was too much. So I've got these in the wrong order, I think. I'm going to, so the most important thing you need to know is your female difference, okay? We have, our brain is different, our hormones are different, our biology, our design is different, the history, which is that last slide in the epigenetics, the fact that we create life, we grow life, we, through that uterus, okay, we share through our female blood design, which is all the emotions and the beliefs. And our intuition is different to the male intuition as well. Okay, so when I say female, I am talking about anyone born with a uterus. Okay, when you are born with that uterus, you are born, every single one of your 100 trillion cells, up to 100 trillion cells, is coded female. So we have a realm of unconscious that can grow that human life, whether we use it or not, whether we have glitches in the system, we're still running that program, that we have an engine room that creates that life, okay, without having to sit and consciously think about it, if that makes sense. Any one of you have had a child, you will know that you didn't have to sit still for 9 months and concentrate on growing the spinal cord, and then concentrate on growing the lungs and the arm and the leg and the eye and, you know, all the different pieces. Okay, this is a program that is a part of our female design. The male brain does not have this. It doesn't need it. So it cannot possibly understand it. Now, one thing that we probably don't realize is that when we're born with a uterus, that program is is building and creating hormones, and those hormones are released every single day from the time we're born until the time we die. Now, I know for a lot of people, they think, oh, it just starts when you hit puberty and you get your first period. No. For boys, they have this flat line, and then it goes boom, 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 and then flat line for the rest of their life. Now, women, we have this tiny, when we're born, baby, tiny little hormone fluctuations. Scientists have proven this in 6-month-old baby girls, that there is hormonal change every day, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and stronger, and then it's like this. But like the majority of our life, it's this massive big fluctuation of up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, you know, until we get to menopause, and then it slows down. But it is a constant within our life, our entire life. Now, men cannot understand that hormones because they don't have any of it, any of the hormones that we are running for that cycle, that part of us that is running a program that has us, you know, creating an egg, releasing an egg, and getting us ready to grow human life. That is so very different. So if I can, you know, say it in a simpler way, we've got a Samsung phone and an iPhone, okay? They are two totally different phones. They have completely different hardware, although they can do exactly the same things, or almost all the same things. But I can pick up, I'm a Samsung girl. I can pick up an iPhone, and I can't even get past the home. Can you dial my mum? Someone will tell me, and I'll pick up the phone. I can't even get on their home page, okay, because the functionality is different. Does that make sense? The hardware is different, okay? My Samsung, I can't download iTunes because it is not compatible with the hardware, yeah? I can buy, well, I wouldn't, but I could buy an Apple Watch. I can't get that to hook up to my Samsung phone because it is not compatible. And right now, in our healing journey, in our personal development journeys, we're trying to download all the wrong apps for our design. And it's pretty much screwing us up, ladies. I have to say, there is more burnout in women than there is in men. There is more stress in women than in men, and that's why it leads to the burnout. There is more. Okay, we're not dealing with it properly because we're trying to install the wrong programs, the wrong apps, the wrong software for the hardware that we have. To create change, we really do need to be working and knowing and understanding our female design. So as women, this is another big difference. We're constantly overthinking everything, okay? In the female mind, everything is connected to everything. And I sort of got a little prop here. I'm not sure if you can see this with me. I know you can see the photo that I've got there, but it's sort of a bit like this. Here, put that up there. Okay, we've got this, it's like a great big ball of wire that is completely lit up all the time. Everything is connected to everything, and it's all lit up with emotion, okay? You can see there, we're feeling all the feelings, we're feeling anxiety, and we're thinking we should be doing this, and then we're feeling guilt because we're not with the kids, and we're thinking about what we're going to cook for dinner, and we're feeling, you know, 1,000 different things, and we're thinking 1,000 different things. You know, we go to work and we're trying to get reports done, or letters, or go talk to the boss, or do this, but we're also thinking about the kids that are sick at home, and we're thinking about 1,000 different things, and our mind are going insane. Now, if I can show, I don't know if I can stop share. So female brain, crazy, busy, completely insane, everything connected to everything, and it's all lit up by emotion. A different prop that I've got here to show you, the male brain, which I've just lost a piece of it. It's sort of like this, okay? They've got everything is compartmentalized. Everything is nice and ordered, compartmentalized, and they can go to work and pull out the work box, which I think is this one. Pull out the box. We live in the box all day. We think about work and nothing but work, and then we go home and we put the box away. Then we can choose what other box we go to. We can go into the wife box, or we can go into the friend box, or perhaps the sex box, or we can go into the nothing box. This is me I'm talking about, okay? They have a nothing box, and that is their actual design stress relief valve. It is an inbuilt stress relief system that they have. They can shut their mind down and think about nothing. Now, that is completely impossible for the female brain. We do not have that, okay? And when they're shutting their brain down and they've got that quiet, their whole body is releasing that stress. But we're stuck releasing all the toxins that come with stress that's making us ill, physically, emotionally, mentally ill, because we cannot produce enough hormone to water down the toxic chemicals that are released by all the stress. And we are constantly stressed. And for a lot of women, we think it's just part of life. It just is what it is. I'm dealing with it. I'm coping, when you're not actually. When you're ignoring it, you're suppressing it. And it's physically affecting your body, whether you believe it or realize it or not. Now, one thing that I'll just chuck in here quickly, that when we have an oxytocin generator, okay? It's our happy hormone, our bonding hormone. And when we are really, really stressed and all that toxic cortisol and the toxic chemicals is being released into our body, our body uses, it goes and gets all our bonding hormone, our happy hormone, and it waters down the stress hormone, okay? So we're depleting our happy hormone. We're depleting our bonding hormone. This is one of the reasons why so many women are depressed right now. Even though it might not be to the point of suicide, we're depressed. We don't have enough happy hormone going on. This also affects women when they're having their children. When you give birth, you're supposed to have this instant release of oxytocin, which is the bonding, to bond with your baby. When it's depleted, there's an unlapped. That's why there's so many women that are having the baby blues. Okay, they're not connecting, they're not having that release, that big flush of, oh my God, I've just had a baby and it's so wonderful and it's beautiful. It could look like a monkey, but it's the most beautiful thing in the world to you, because you've just had this release of all this hormone. That's how our design, our programs are supposed to work, but it's not there because we've used it all trying to water down the stress. Okay, a lot of reasons why things are going on, and huge reasons why we need to know more about our female design. Okay, so where was I with this? Here. Okay, so just quickly, I could talk all day about all the differences about the female brain to the male brain, so that you know that I'm not talking out my ass. Yeah, we have more head-heart connectivity, okay? We're more emotional. We have 8 times more crying hormone. That's why we cry. We're women. It's part of who we are, okay? The fact that you take the crying hormone, you take the more head-heart connection, you take the brain being this constant ball of wire, and then you go to work and some guy says, leave your home life at home, or don't take things personally, and you beat yourself up because you think, well, it's very personal. I can't help but take it personally. Well, women are always going to take it personally. It's part of our functioning. Unless we can clear out all the past emotions and have a better, higher emotional intelligence, then each individual event, each time somebody says that to us, it's like it's happened for the very first time. Instead of when we've got, you know, a backpack full of other events, other rocks that are all of that emotion, then it's like that being said to us is like for the 55th time, and there's 55 times of emotion connected to that, if that makes sense. So when we're dealing with something that's like first time, we've cleared out all the past, we're able to cope better with that. We're able to deal with that and say, you know what, that ain't my stuff. I can let that go. Or no, I'm not taking that personally because he doesn't understand my female design, and I'm just going to go about my business and do what I do. I hope that kind of makes sense, ladies, that knowing who you are and getting rid of the past will make things easier going forward, even when others do not understand these differences. Okay, we take fewer risks than men. They just have, that's why they can ride motorbikes. Their peripheral vision is another reason why they're better drivers than, because we're more focused. We look here and they see out to the side, so they have more linear, they can swerve and ride and drive better. It's a part of our design. It's a part of their design. We have been created differently. We have been created differently, but we're not taking those into account. Okay. So for example, our emotions, okay, see the color wheel, there's 50,000 different colors, variations, shades, where most guys, obviously there is always exception to any rule, most guys are going, and you know what, we want blue for the wall, we want blue. But you'll say, yeah, but no, which blue? I don't care, it's blue. Yeah, but we want aqua, but there's light blue and there's dark blue and there's navy blue and there's, you know, pale blue and there's baby blue and there's 1,000 different kinds of called baby blue. Okay, our emotions are the same. We have, it's not just anger or mad or sad. There are thousands of variations of those emotions. And that is just who we are as females. As just men, oh my God, what is wrong with you? You're crazy. And our hormones, you know, when they're fluctuating, they're changing how intensely we feel those emotions on any given day. Okay, so most attendees on any personal development course or program, 70% of them are females. And do you want to know why? Because they go to a course and they get in that moment when they're in an atmosphere, everyone around them, we're all hyped up and we're all feeling good and we're all sharing the experience, and the person on stage is charismatic, and you know, we feel like we can get change in that moment. But when we go home, we go back to where we were with all the rocks in our backpack, all the stuff we've been carrying, which hasn't gone anywhere, because this was all just learning at a conscious level. So we need to go back again and again and again and again. We're searching for answers. We're searching for change, but we can't seem to find it. Now, I know that there are a ton of personal development gurus that have said, you know what, I had this amazing wake-up call and I turned my life around, and this is what I did. I did this, 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 this. You know, my whole life's changed. I'm multi-millionaire, blah, 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 blah. And they're telling you or us in the audience what they did after they had that wake-up call. The problem is us in the audience, or you listening to this, you haven't had your wake-up call. They had this moment of clarity where everything changed. And until you have that moment of clarity when everything changed, you can't implement all the steps that they did. You might be able to implement some of them. You might be able to do a lot of them. You may be able to do none of them. But It was their wake-up call, their moment of clarity that changed everything from there for them. They can see clearly. They can take action that they couldn't take before. They can see things differently. They can do things differently because of that moment of clarity. Now, that is what, I'm just off track here, but that is what Creatrix does. The method, the therapy that I work with is giving you that wake-up call moment where you have clarity, where you gain internal wisdom. You expand your emotional intelligence, so therefore you can move forward free from all the rocks, all the beliefs and emotions of the past. So when we go home from these events, when we feel a day or 2 days later, back to square one, I'm back to being unmotivated or procrastinating or whatever it may be, I'm back to feeling sad and depressed, my anxiety is still here, it hasn't gone anywhere. We feel like there's something wrong with us, which then creates more beating ourselves up, which creates more emotional struggle and pain. And it's this constant cycle that never seems to end, because we're always searching and we're always landing flat on our face, and then we're going through this, I'm a failure, there's something wrong with me. And yeah, we're frying our circuits. We're spending so much time and effort and money on things that do not work because they're not designed for our female brain, ladies. Quite frankly, we're wasting a lot because it's not going to work. And I want you to know that you're not alone in this, okay? There are 2% of the population that know this information. And it's our job to share that, to grow this strength and feminine knowledge and power that comes from knowing who you are. We need to share that with other women. If you understand how your brain works, how your emotions work, how your hormones work, you can create better relationships. You can create better communication in your relationships. Okay, you will understand yourself better and you can work better in your business. Everything benefits from knowing these very, very simple but very important facts. So most therapies, most personal development, most things out there are working on that conscious level, which I talked about, which is the top of the iceberg. Okay, we've seen the iceberg before. This is a different take, because most, and as we go through life, we know we're only seeing what appears. We're only seeing the top of the iceberg. We're not knowing what's underneath. Okay, I don't know what you may be feeling because I'm only seeing what you're showing us, what your facial expression during your body language is showing. I don't know the deep, deep pain that could be sitting inside, all the beliefs that are running around in your head. Okay, the iceberg, the top of the iceberg, that is where our conscious mind lives. But all the programming, all of the emotions, all of that, I'm not good enough and I'm a failure and life is hard, and all of the beliefs, that patterns and conditionings, they're all at that unconscious level. Okay, now there are modern therapies that work at a unconscious level, but they're not quite still getting, if you look at this, right down to the bottom of the iceberg. Now, the say energy healings and NLP and timeline and things like that, they work on your past life experiences and some ingrained. Okay, but the patterns will always return up to 2 years. That you might be good for 2 years, but it'll always return. But those processes, ladies, are designed by the male brain for the male brain. They work absolutely amazingly well for those. And they will work pretty good for one in 6 to 7 women. The other women, you struggle with it. It's really hard to work in that linear way, the way the male brain does. So I know I had NLP and I literally broke the practitioner. She was in a tizzy. She just was ringing her trainer and saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this woman, she just blah, blah, blah. Didn't work for me. I couldn't do it. It was beyond what I could do. Okay, so I want you to understand, right down at the bottom, there's this DNA, the epigenetics that I spoke of earlier, and I want to go back to that slide if I can. It's working at that deep, deep, deep DNA level. So when you work and clear stuff, you can clear the stuff that you recognize from this lifetime, but you'll still feel it because there's been, trust me, you don't know me, you don't have to trust me, but know that what your mother has experienced, what your grandmother, your grandfather, your great, 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 great in the last global pandemic, the fear and the scarcity and the worry that they felt is sitting in your DNA. That's why, you know, at the first moment, people were buying all the toilet paper. They didn't know why. They just felt this need to do something, to stockpile, because the scarcity was triggered in their DNA. Okay? There is deeply, deeply rooted issues, emotions, beliefs, feelings that we have and we're not even aware of until it gets triggered, but we don't even know. You know, for me, I had this depression and I didn't know why, because I hadn't had an actual life experience that warranted that deep sadness. I had no understanding of what was wrong with me because I had a great life. I had great parents and a great childhood and, you know, great friends at school and, you know, life was good. Why was I so depressed? This made sense. It wasn't my shit that was causing me so much grief, but I could still get rid of it. I didn't need to know why in the end to be able to release that. And that is one of the biggest, best things, ladies, is that you do not need to know why to be able to release it. Now, I just want to go back here sorry, I'm going to go back to this epigenetic slide because it explains it better. All right. Now I'm going to screen share again. Where are we? Screen share. Sorry. This slide. Okay, so epigenetics. Now, this is just showing you a tiny little bit over here, the photo of me, mum and grandma, all right? So when your grandmother was pregnant with your mum had every single egg inside of her that she was ever going to have. So you were already in her womb, okay? They're not created after, that's a part. So that's 3 generations that are attached together in living in the one body. So everything that grandma was feeling, everything she ate even, you know, was a part of her body, was experienced by her child and a grandchild. Does that make sense? So if she was deeply depressed, if grandma was deeply depressed, that was connected to mum and to me. If grandma was feeling anxious, that was in every cell of her body. When I got you to close your eyes and feel that anger or whatever that your biggest emotion was, when you felt that in your body, it was in your body. It was in every cell. You could feel that. Okay, it's not just some mind thing in here. It's an experience that your entire body, your physical body, your emotional, your mental, your spiritual, the whole entirety of you was feeling that. So when grandma was feeling anxiety that was stored in her DNA, even if she wasn't pregnant, when she got pregnant, that was going to be connected and given, passed through into the DNA. Now, mum may have never felt anxiety, or she may have felt it her entire life too, and then it was passed to me. I'm just using grandma, mum, and me. And I've known and worked with and helped heal many women who've had 30 plus years of anxiety, and it's gone within a couple of weeks, and max 6 weeks. I've had women who have come to me and they've said, you know what, I was absolutely fine until I turned 20 or until I turned this age. And all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. There wasn't any great big, huge event, but something must have triggered it. And I've had anxiety ever since. I haven't been able to. Some people have had depression, anxiety, they've known it their whole life. Now, right now, kids as young as 5 and 10 have got anxiety and depression because we're passing it through the DNA to the next generation, because we are living in such a stressed out state that stress is seeping out of our pores to the next generation. Just like if you had a massive, great big feet of garlic, it goes out your pores, okay? What you're feeling becomes a part of the experience that you share with the rest of the world. So if you are struggling with depression and anxiety and just saying, you know what, I'll just deal with it, well, you know what, you need to heal it for the next generation. Seriously. So you're connected. Now, your grandmother, well, she was inside her grandmother. So that's 6 generations connected. And her grandmother was inside her grandmother, okay? Science can prove at least 15 generations of inherited 14 generations. Give them another 30 years and they'll probably prove another 10 generations, depending on what animal that they're doing testing on. But they've done a lot. Okay, so every perception we have has been filtered through all of our past experiences. But what we don't realise is that it's been passed down through our bloodline, from our ancestral history, the emotions, and especially as females, because we have that deeply connected in the uterus. The engine room of our epigenetics is our uterus. So we carry more. It's not to say the men don't carry and inherit a lot of that stuff, but we seem to do more because we have that connection through the uterus. So that could be 200-300 years of trauma, pain, grief, loss, suppression. Our gender has been suppressed for generations. Maybe not so much in the last 100 years, and we're trying to break free of it, but we're not able to do that if we don't break free of the past. Okay, so that's that again. Now I just need to go through all of these back to where we were. So here I just wanted to show some photos because you can really see transformation in the image, in the face. When you clear, when you take off all the backpack with all the rocks in it, okay, you're physically feeling better. So here are a couple of women, you know, going back 5 years that have changed. You can see their before Creatrix photo. This is me, and I look younger now than what I did 10 years ago. Just about to turn 50, ladies. 7th of Feb 2022, depending on when you may watch this, I will be 50. And this lovely lady up here, the blonde up the top, just turned 52. Now, she looked like an old grandmother in the first one, and she looked like a beautiful, young, happy, absolutely, completely changed person in that second photo. Totally different. So when you change the emotional and the mental, you're changing your physical being as well. That is the power of Creatrix. It is transforming the cells of your body because you are releasing all of the past. You are releasing centuries, generations of pain and struggle. So the 6 elements that make Creatrix stand out from any other transformational method, okay? Gender specific is the most important, but they're all important, sorry. So it works for the way that the female is designed. For our creator being, the unconscious mind, our uterus generator of, sorry. So yeah, our female differences, gender specific, very important one. It works on our head, our heart, and our gut being our intuition. Okay, a lot of other modalities or methods or transformational tools will work on one or maybe two, but they don't work on all three. But you're one whole connected being and you need to work on all three. So then we have the epigenetics, which I just spoke about. Now, the safety, all right? Safety is a huge concern. We are all about your holding a client in a container for the entire breakthrough. It's why we do not do one-off sessions, because we don't know if we did, you know, that anger, that one emotion that you thought was the biggest thing, we release that in one session, then there could be something that's sitting in your DNA from, you know, 100 years ago, because we've just heard about what we've inherited. We didn't know it was there, but all of a sudden your subconscious, this deep soul wisdom knows, okay, we're dealing with stuff, we'll just pull it up. It's been suppressed for your entire life. You don't even know it's there. All of a sudden it's up there and you're in so much pain that you think Creatrix didn't work and Maria's just ruined your life because you feel worse than ever. That doesn't happen. And we do not make you relive and retell. You do not have to understand why you feel depression. You don't have to talk about an event that caused you to feel loss or grief or resentment or hurt or rejected. If that makes sense, you don't have to sit there and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. You don't have to understand why, which is what a lot of the therapies do. If you understand why, then you can start to let it go. No, we just let it go. You know that it's an issue, that's the start point, and then we just release it without any more pain. And the reciprocity is hugely important because it is filling up the space, okay? When you release, say, anger, which has been the example the way through, but it should be depression, anxiety. But depression and anxiety, I guess just quickly, for me, the belief that I have is that anxiety and depression are a combination of many, 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 many other emotions. And it was for me, okay? And it has been for every woman that I've worked with. There are so many individual and different emotions. And when we store them, we push them down and we suppress them in here, they build and build and build and build and build, and they get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And then we have depression or we have anxiety, or, you know, however it comes out. It's like your body saying, you have to deal with this, so I'll give you these signs, these symptoms that you need to work on something. For me, my depression, I worked on the grief, deep grief, sadness, loneliness. And because there was hurt and there was, I'm not good enough and I don't fit in, and you know, a ton of other stuff that I wrote down. And because I had all of that, and it was so overwhelming, and it was so much heaviness, so much weight, I didn't know how to deal. So anger came up and it came out. I was yelling at everyone just for saying hello, because I couldn't deal. It got so much I couldn't deal with it. So when I let go of anger and hate, there was no depression. It was all of these emotions, and there was plenty more, trust me. But It wasn't just this word depression. It's finding all the emotions from that list that I showed you earlier, that all combine to have you feeling the way that you feel. Anxiety. I worked with a woman who had anxiety for 30 years. She had all these fears, all this worry that was going on. When we did one layer, up comes sadness, but she didn't know it was there, but it was there. Hate. Maria, I don't hate anybody, but it come up and she could feel it quite intensely after we pulled a couple of layers off. It was deep down, but it was there, and it was a layer, and then there was another layer put on top, and then the other layer on top, and the other layer on top, and then there was the anxiety from all the symptoms. It was a symptom of everything else that was going on. Does that make sense? So share the screen again. So reciprocity is gaining wisdom, your deep own internal wisdom. So when we're releasing, we're putting back in all of this learning, but it's coming from within. It's not coming from without that conscious level. We're gaining this knowledge from inside. So you are only ever going to learn what's for your highest good because it's coming from your own soul. It's coming from your deep unconscious, coming from your deep emotional intelligence. That is there. You've inherited it just like you've inherited all the negative stuff. And your own, one's own wisdom, which is why it is. Now, I've just put a couple of client testimonials on here, which can give you a bit of an idea of different things that women have been through and what they've been able to overcome, let go by this therapy. Now, after caring for my dying mother and losing her to cancer, then caring for my 10-year-old son as he underwent open heart surgery, I was left feeling depleted of energy and lost my joy for life. I simply lost me as I drowned in grief, anger, worry, and physical exhaustion. Maria saved me. She brought me back to life in a time that I thought I was too broken. Creatrix is nothing but the real deal of a massive dose of magic. Thank you, Maria, for breathing life and joy back into my heart. You are truly a gift to the world and gave me and give women a second chance at life. I'm no longer existing. I'm back to living my life with a peaceful and happy heart. Now, this beautiful lady I seen on Facebook only a week ago, I think it was 5 years since her mother had died. So this testimonial has been quite a long time. It was about 12 months after when she came to me, and she just couldn't get up and she couldn't be the best mother to her 2 boys, and her kids needed her because one of them was had open heart surgery. So he had a lot of stuff going on as well. So she needed to be her best self, and she wasn't at that time. So here's Melissa. It's been 5 years since she had her breakthrough. I was really depressed and I was struggling each day with self-confidence, self-worth. I was always angry and yelling at the people closest to me, my 2 children. This was not the person I wanted to be or the type of relationship I wanted with my beautiful girls. I wanted to feel normal. How many women want to feel normal? What's normal? I don't know whether we'll ever get back to normal after the time that we've been in, but we want to feel like we used to feel. We want to get back to being who we were. At some point in our life, we felt connected to us, if that makes sense. And we lose that along the way with all the life experience and everything else that goes on. So Creatrix experience is amazing. I feel calm, confident, calm, free, happy, and just all around peace and harmony. I have a new wisdom and so much more confidence. I'm doing better in my business and I have a new way of dealing with everyday issues. I know what it feels like to have deep depression. I know because I've worked with a lot of women who have had anxiety, stress and overwhelm and anger, and you can name it. And, I've either had it myself or worked with women who have had that. Now, I also know what it's like to go out and try so many different types of healing, traditional healing, counseling and therapies, energy healings like Reiki. I know what it's like to see psychologists, do NLP, timeline, EMDR, EFT, all of those kind of things. And they all work to a certain extent for some, and you may have had really, really good results. You may be someone who didn't get so good a result, but has it come back, or is it something that may not be this 10 out of 10, but it's still there, it's a 7? You know, so you've had, because we get so used to carrying that, say, that big backpack, you know, we might have just kicked out 4 or 5 rocks, but the weight, you know, is only 2 kilos lighter than what it was. But that's a huge thing because it was 2 kilos lighter. Do you get what I mean? Small changes can be, wow, I've actually let something go. This was a really good thing. But what if you could go to something, you know, have 4 to 6 weeks and literally empty out the entire backpack, chuck the backpack away, as well as having all the rocks out of it, chuck the flipping backpack away. That's the kind of result that I'm talking about. We're not just going to take out 2 kilos or 4 kilos out of the 100 kilo bag. We're going to get rid of the whole 100 kilos. That is the power of real transformation and change. And that's what happens when you're working with your female specific mind, heart, soul, your subconscious, your creator being. You don't want to live life feeling that it's all too hard. You're so exhausted, you know, nothing works. What's wrong with me? There's nothing. So you really do have to choose to want that change, to clear it out, to chuck the backpack, to clear out all the rocks, to get rid of it all, to start fresh. And like I said, anything that changes in here is only ever for your highest good, because it is all done from within. It's all you getting your answers. I just help and guide you on the journey that you go on to get the answers that you need. So you can, you know, end the video, stop watching, go about your day and go about your life. But what's going to cost you if you stay where you are? What's it going to mean for you, but not only for you, for the people that are closest to you? That might be your children, it might be a partner, it might be, you know, you're still young, so it's your mother and your brothers and sisters. It might be nieces and nephews. It could be kids that you're teaching. You're a teacher and you're out there every single day in a room full of young minds and hearts and souls with all this negative energy. What is it costing you to stay where you are? What would it feel like to have none of that there? Ladies, we all deserve to have the best life possible. We only get one shot at it, and we're the only ones who can make it. There is no magic pill. There is no fairy godmother who's going to wave a wand and it all just disappears and goes away. If you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for something to fix you, it's not going to happen. You have to take control. Want to fix yourself. And that's fixes in the right way. It's just heal, to clear out all the noise and the negative and make yourself feel peace and joy and happiness and contentment, connected to who you are, feeling worthy and good enough and strong and confident. I can't tell you what that feels like. It's like, but I can say it's like you've had this weight of 10 kilos, 100 kilos sitting on your back, and all of a sudden it's gone. One of my clients said she felt like she was in a straitjacket, constricted, and all of a sudden she could move and she was free. She could breathe air into her lungs. There was a calm peace, contentment. If this sounds like something that you're interested in, I work with women who are seriously committed to their own change, okay? Because it's a joint effort. It is a journey for you and I connected, both working together. Okay, I am there. I'm holding you in a safe place. I am there to guide you. I am there to answer your questions. I am there to help you every single step of the way. But you have to do the work. You have to commit to wanting your best life for yourself, not for anybody else, but for you. It will absolutely benefit everybody else in your life, but you have to want it for you. And if you're ready and willing to invest in yourself, then I'm here and I will guarantee real and lasting outcome for you. So I'm offering a 60-minute consultation where we will deep dive into what are you feeling, what are the issues, what are the blocks, what are the beliefs, what are the emotions that you're struggling with. You don't have to tell me why you're feeling them. It's not important like every other therapy. It's what, okay, I know that I feel angry. I know that I feel sad. I know that I'm depressed. Let's dig a little deeper. What are you feeling? What are you feeling when you're in a room full of people? What are you feeling when you're by yourself? Sad, alone, lonely, hurt, rejected. That's where we start this list of emotions. I'm going to help you identify all of those. And then I'll share with you some strategies to help you. And obviously I will talk to you more about Creatrix if I think that is the right fit for you. Okay. So it's usually that 1 hour deep dive strategy and consult is usually $297. But if you book through this masterclass, it's only $97. And the reason that I have made it paid instead of free is because I want to know that you are serious about making change and committing to invest in yourself, because nothing's free. Nothing. You can't even go to the shop and get lollies for free. Okay, your healing of depression and sadness and grief and anxiety and all overwhelm and all the other stuff, of course it's not going to be free. So you have to, 1, want to feel better, and 2, you have to want to spend, to commit to your transformation. Invest in yourself. And the results are phenomenal. They're ridiculous. Okay, I have a YouTube channel. I have a Facebook channel. You can go on and you can have a look at all the different clients with different results. And you can get on the call, spend $97 and find out, spend some time working out what it is that's holding you back, causing you pain, stopping you from living your best life. The book a call is down here. Okay, pause, get that number, and it might have actually changed. I'll make sure that that's what it is. Connect. Yeah, so book a call, have a conversation. Let's have a deep dive conversation about what that could mean. And you know what? Tomorrow's the 1st of Feb. Okay, what if in 6 weeks' time, you might have been 10 years of depression, anxiety, maybe it's been 30 years, maybe it's been 2, but what if in 6 weeks' time your whole life can be transformed? What would that be worth to you? What's it going to cost you not to have it? I really hope that you choose to hear. It was the best thing I ever done. The best thing I ever done. And I do it again and again and again. I am continually working on myself. I'm going, anything new that comes up, I go and I have Creatrix. I go in and I get the learnings that I need to keep me moving forward. Yes, I have events happen in my life. I have people die. And my favourite cousin passed 12 months ago, and that was a really hard thing. And I had to go and get new learnings around to continue to move forward. I allow grief. It doesn't mean that we don't feel. We still have emotion. It is a natural part of being human. But I can allow that grief to come in, to flow through me. I can feel it. I can process it. I can let it go, instead of being stuck in it and holding it here for hours and days and months. The weight of that, it comes in and it goes out. Okay, I can have a cry for 10 minutes, bawl my damn eyes out. But then it flows through and it goes out, and I'm okay. I hope this has helped you gain some kind of knowledge about yourself, about your female difference. And I implore you, I really do, if you are struggling with depression, with anxiety, with any kind of emotional baggage, you do not have to live there. You can be fast and set free, feeling clear and feeling joyful. It's not going to be 100% happy 100% of the time, because that's totally unrealistic with the way life goes too. But there's a joy in here that just keeps you feeling connected, feeling settled, feeling calm, and in control of life. So I hope that you reach out, because I love helping women to help themselves, to get a better life, to heal the hurt. And I will leave it there, but I can only say so much. But this is my purpose and my passion, and I am here when you're ready.